So we have a new theme because it's a new month, and our new theme is Pause for Guidance. If you've been feeling a little dogged or being a little catty, we are having a pause for guidance. The actual theme is a pause for guidance. And with that in mind, the contemplative meditation will be done by Michelle, and of course, music, I'm assuming this is Jackson. Yes, it is. And the music will be done by Jackson. So Michelle, I will turn this over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and hi on Zoom. Let's see.
Can you see yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon me. I'm kind of short.
Just move the top up a little bit.
Me? Oh, there we go. Hi. Okay. Fun. Okay. Kind of a newbie to this as well. All right, I have a really, I think it's a great little reading. It actually came, I saw it this morning, from the New Science of Mind magazine, and it's part of Edward Billioun's writing in the magazine. And so we're going to do a contemplative meditation, and if you will just relax and be where you are, and just take a couple of deep healing breaths, center yourself in the here and now. When we start to pay attention to what is available to us, we develop a relationship with what some call God within. Others call it their higher selves or their intuitive and spiritual nature. Whatever it's called, it tells us everything we need to know to live a life of meaning and worth, a life of awareness of the good everywhere present, and it fills us with joyous thanks. And it does so beautifully when we take a moment to pause and notice it silently.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Truly the presence of God is in this place.
Okay.
And surely the presence of God is within this place and with each and every one of us, whether we were here in person, whether we are on Zoom, or whether we are watching this later. That spirit of wonder and awe dwells within each and every one of us. And today, as we gather together, I know that the words of Reverend Angelica will be just the right and perfect words that we need to hear. That the message this morning will inspire us and instill within us that very love of spirit that is dwelling there now and at all times. And I'm just so grateful that we can be together and that we can be not only in person but on Zoom and reach out to our friends that are at home, either in Eureka or other areas in our county or in other states. It's pretty great. So I know that this energy all comes together in its right and positive and perfect way. And so it is.
So it is.
There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face.
Oh boy, sure has been a pleasure.
The presence of God is in this place.
All right. Thanks for everyone joining us. And now we welcome Reverend Angelica.
Good morning, everyone, again.
Morning to you too.
Do you have the power to mute them all?
Actually,
Because we can hear somebody talking.
yeah, if you on Zoom, please mute yourselves. Because I can't, oh, maybe I can, just a minute.
You've got the power.
Do
You have
I?
the power, Angelica.
I can mute myself. It's a different screen than I'm used to. So, Oscar, mute yourself. And whoever else is out there, you need to mute. Wait, let's see. Let me try this one. Nope, I don't. I'll have to play with it later to see what I'm supposed to do here. Anyway, as I said, good morning. So we're in a new month. We're in August. What fun that is. And you know, I was looking at the ministers list online, and there are so many ministers that are going on vacation for the month of August. And I thought, boy, that's really time for a pause, isn't it? You know, and I thought, wow, you know, Reverend Helen used to do that too. Maybe I ought to try that. However, I just can't imagine being gone for a whole month. I have a hard time going away just for a little while. So, time for a tune-up. This whole idea of this pause for guidance is really an important one as we're living our daily lives, to be able to pause for guidance. You know, in our, hey, it's not moving my, it's not, come on, move. It's not moving my, there we go, I gotta use, for some reason this is not working right now. Just what we get for the first time doing it live. I want it just to run smoothly, of course. So, from our Declaration of Principles, we read, We believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. And pausing for guidance helps us do this. So I have 3 ideas, as usual. The first idea here is to get support. In this idea of pausing for guidance, get support. If we want to grow, we have to take time for a spiritual tune-up. So we tune up our cars, don't we? And they run so much better. It makes our engine run easier. It improves the fuel economy, etc. It lowers emissions. It restores lost pep and power. Wouldn't you like to start your day that way? Right? Yes, this means yes. Okay, so let's say you go to a chiropractor and you get an adjustment. And what does an adjustment do if you are, what does an adjustment do? It gives you a spinal alignment. And so think about being spiritually aligned. Everybody wants to be spiritually aligned. We want to realign ourselves with the infinite, with this divine presence that is within us and around us and absolutely everywhere. And how about when we go to the dentist? Oscar, you have to mute yourself. Oh, wait, I found it. There. But now I want to go back one. How do I do that? There. Okay. Thank God we're not a really organized church, right? So we go to the dentist and what happens? It improves the health of our teeth. And so this gives us, they're saying now, that our teeth are so important to the health of the whole body, to the vitality of the whole body. And so we would love to have increased vitality. So my question is, why don't we take time for doing spiritual tune-ups every morning? And maybe you all do. I don't know. But I do know that sometimes I get up and I go to, I'm boarding a darling little Datsun right now. And Datsun, that's a car. Dachshund. You know, a wiener dog. Anyway, I'm boarding this darling little guy. He's a puppy. He's all full of pep and vinegar. And just, you know, as soon as I let him out of his sleeping crate in the morning, it's like, I know he's got to go straight outside. And so I head outdoors with him and you know, take a nice walk so he can do his business. And then I get back, and like this morning, well, I had to, you know, get ready for church and do this and do that, and I'm out the door without doing my spiritual practices. And one of the things that I know is that, like exercise, it can become a habit not to do it, just as it can become a habit to do it. So we really want to take time for a regular spiritual tune-up. My second idea is to evaluate where you want to have improvement in your life and be teachable in those areas. You know, I was telling somebody about all the classes that I've taken over the last year and a half, and they're going, well, you know, you really like to take classes. Well, yes, I do. And there is so much to learn. Everything is changing all the time. I mean, here we're learning about how to do a hybrid service, which is going to become the norm. People don't always want to go to a building and sit and be with a whole bunch of other people. Sometimes they wake up late and they just want to stay home and watch it on the computer, right? Participate in whatever way they can. When we evaluate the improvement in our lives and allow ourselves to be teachable, one of the things we also have to do is make sure we remain humble. Being humble actually creates an inner freedom. It helps us not to have to hide from those parts of ourselves that we haven't been comfortable with. Dr. Holmes says, whatever you identify yourself with, you will become like. Whatever you resist until you make it a reality, you will also become like. Whatever I identify myself with. So if I'm identifying myself with someone who is joy-filled and happy and that sort of thing, then that's what I will create in my life, experiences that bring me even more joy and more happiness. If I identify with myself with somebody who is constantly complaining, you know, they're not doing this right, it's always them, right? It's never you or me. It's like, you know, we look out there and we go, well, they should, they ought to, they whatever. And if I'm identifying myself with someone who's always complaining, I'm going to get more to complain about. Has anybody noticed that? You might start out in the morning and you end up complaining about something, and it seems like everything that day ends up being something to complain about, or something doesn't go right in our lives. So evaluate where you want to have improvement, and then allow yourself to be teachable. Absolutely be teachable. The third idea is lose that which you don't want and share the thing that you do want. So choose to lose unhappiness, judgment, and perhaps victim mentality. Just let go of those. You don't want to share those, right? What you want to do is, and in fact, I was saying this morning in the meditation that today is Lammas in the Wiccan calendar, or the earth-centered pagan calendar. And Lammas is the holiday where you celebrate your harvest, especially the first harvests. But it's also a time where we can do ritual to let go of those things that you no longer want to harvest in your lives. Remember, what you're doing, what you're thinking about all the time is what you're going to harvest. So if we did something like even as simple as light a candle and maybe write a list of, I'm letting go of judgment. I'm letting go of being a victim. I'm letting go of whatever it might be. And then burn that list and really believe that that has an effect on your consciousness. We can let go of that which we don't want. And we can harvest the things that we've already put in place that we do want to share with the world, like more peace, more love, more joy, more harmony. And of course, all the material things that we might want to bring back into our experience or have more of in our experience, like money and more creativity and water. That's a good one, water. In fact, though, I was, when I took that little dog, his name is Axel. When I took Axel for his walk this morning, I felt like I was walking through a cloud. I know it was fog, but it was weird to have this, to feel these little droplets form on my arms without any rain. It was very, very unusual. But it was also fun. And, if you know me at all, you know that I'm captivated by simple things in life. Dr. Holmes says, from this thing called you are to find the roots of your life in pure spirit. Lose your sense of being separated from your good, and you will find that you're united with it. I wonder how many times we are going through something maybe we're resentful or being judgmental or those things that we just mentioned, letting go of. And we forget that at that point, we're separating ourselves from our higher truth, our higher self. So finding our roots in pure spirit. Sometimes I think I talk about the same thing every single Sunday. That what we're really about here is remembering the truth of our being. And the truth of our being is that we're spirit. And we're not separate from God. God is everything. God is omnipresent. I mean, all of us learned this when we were little, that God is omnipresent, God is omnipotent, God is omniscient. That means God is absolutely everywhere. There is no spot where God is not. And that means in us. It doesn't, fill up the space except for this particular one that you occupy. Right? God is in here. In fact, if you get my Friday message, you'll notice that I heard, I think it was Reverend Elijah, that wonderful young man that came to speak to us from Santa Cruz. He said in a talk I listened to that we're having a live-in relationship with the divine. And I love that idea because in truth, we are having a live-in relationship with the divine. This that we think we are is the divine. If God is all there is, then we cannot be separate from it. And so these are the things that we want to harvest, to find our roots in pure spirit, and to let go of that idea that we're separate. When we let go of the idea that we're separate, we start feeling really good about ourselves and really good about life, no matter what is going on around us. I want to share with you a story that was put in the notes for this week. It's a story by Jean Pellegrino on change and growth. So, long ago, when the world was very new, there was a certain lobster who was determined that the Creator had made a mistake. So he set up an appointment to discuss the matter. "With all due respect," said the lobster, "I wish to complain about the way you designed my shell. You see, just as I got used to one outer casing, then I have to shed it for another. Very inconvenient and rather a waste of time." To which the Creator responded, "I see. But do you realize that it is the giving up of one shell that allows you to grow into another?" "But I like myself the way I am," the lobster said. "Your mind is made up," said the Creator. "Indeed," the lobster replied. "Very well," smiled the Creator. "From now on, your shell will not change, and you may go about your business just as you do right now." "That's very kind of you," said the lobster, and left. At first, the lobster was very content wearing the same old shell. But as time passed, he found that his once light and comfortable shell was becoming quite heavy and tight. After a while, in fact, the shell became so cumbersome that the lobster couldn't feel anything at all outside itself. As a result, he was constantly bumping into others. Finally, it got to the point where he could hardly even breathe. So with great effort, he went back to see the Creator. "With all due respect," the lobster sighed, "contrary to what you promised, my shell has not remained the same. It keeps shrinking." "Not at all," smiled the Creator. "It has remained the same size. What happened is that you changed inside, within your shell." The Creator continued, "You see, everything changes continuously. No one remains the same. That's the way I made things." "When you let go of your shell and choose to grow," said the Creator, "you build new strength within yourself. And in that strength, you'll find new capacity to love yourself, to love those around you, to love life itself. This is my plan for everyone. How many times have we wanted to avoid change? Wouldn't you rather have avoided 2020? In fact, I keep thinking that 2020 is like a piece of paper. You know, here's our timeline. And 2020 sort of disappeared into the timeline, right? And yet, out of this period of time where we had to be sheltered in place and where we're still going through the pandemic, etc., I believe that this is that last bit of the collective consciousness expressing whatever or not expressing whatever to move into a higher consciousness. And you've heard me say this before, that I thought, that I felt that before this time we were in a collective consciousness called might is right. Now we're moving into a consciousness that I believe is called compassion. Even the Dalai Lama said that compassion is his new religion. And in order to live in that compassion, in order to evolve or ascend or whatever we want to call it into this new consciousness, this consciousness where we really believe that God is love and absolutely everywhere present and absolutely knows everything and is all powerful, and that God is not out there, but it's in here. As we move into this higher consciousness, the whole world is changing with us. So it's important for us to pause for guidance as often as we can. In fact, we're immersed in an infinite sea of intelligence which instantly knows the answer to any problem. Not because it enters into the contemplation of the problem, since principles can have no problems, but because it instantly knows the answer to every problem, to any problem. When we ask for divine guidance, we're really bringing our problem to a principle which has no problems. If we can get away from the problem long enough, we shall find the answer. When the mind turns to the divine for a solution to its problems, the divine, being ever present, answers by intuitively knowing not the problem, but its solution. This was an article in a very old Science of Mind magazine by Dr. Ernest Holmes, and I forgot to put the date. I put January there, but forgot to put the year. It's like 1960 something, I believe. But just think about this for a minute. This infinite sea of intelligence is in here. It's kind of hard to think of something infinite fitting in here, isn't it? But the truth is, this is just the body we're wearing. It's our suit of clothing for this period of time. The truth of us is that we are divine. And when we ask for divine guidance, we have to remember we're not asking something outside of us. We're asking our own higher self. Show me the way. Let me know. What am I supposed to do next? I mean, you could use this divine guidance for absolutely anything. That's what I love about it. And so it's time for us to do that. Let's say this affirmation together. This is written, the August affirmations are written by Catherine Kane, our Hawaiian practitioner. I take time for joy and for nourishing my soul. The rewards of this bless not only myself, but all those whose lives I touch. So let's go into treatment. how grateful I am for the powerful presence. This presence is absolutely everywhere. This presence is in the air that we're breathing, the sounds that we're hearing, the things that we touch, the things that we see, smell. It's in all of that and more. This presence is our true self. So I declare that this week is a week in which we use this idea of a pause for guidance. We let ourselves experiment with it and see just how fast, how quickly the answers come, the guidance comes. And I know that as we open ourselves up to it, it comes faster and faster. Our lives become more harmonious, more compassionate, more pleasant. Our lives feel good. So I know for us this week that each one of us has an experience of this, that how blessed we are to know these ideas, these concepts that are in the science of mind. Remembering always that God is all there is. As Dr. Holmes said, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is the life I'm living right now. So we allow ourselves to remember this. We allow ourselves to not think about the things in our past that we didn't appreciate or care for. We harvest all the good. We remember that we're a lot more powerful, a lot more loving, a lot more compassionate than we believed we were. And so knowing this is true, I declare for each one of us that we all got something this morning that absolutely serves us in this wonderful spiritual adventure called life. And I know we're ready and willing to pay attention, to let go of the things that are no longer serving us, to evaluate and re-educate ourselves in whatever way we feel good about. And I know we're willing to remember that when we look in the mirror, we allow ourselves to look deep into our eyes and we say, there you are, God. Thank you for this life. Thank you. And so with a grateful heart, I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so. And so it is. So, Les is going to play one of her originals, helping out with some others. I wonder if I put this down there, if that helps.
Lights I can sing like the soul in my blues. Just a big happy fool, sitting here grinning at you. Now the sounds that used to ring so true suddenly just won't do. Got no blues in my soul and no soul in my blues. Ooh, I'm blaming on you. No blues in my soul, whoa, 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 and no soul in my blues. I had a life that cut like a knife, hollowing out inside. Now I feel like a cup that you fill to the top, spilling over with joy and pride. And sometimes in the morning I play my guitar, I try to wail like I used to do, and then I laugh 'cause it just ain't true. I laugh 'cause it just ain't true, and I blame it on you. Now I got no blues in my soul, not no soul in my blues. Just a big happy fool, sitting here grinning at you. Now the sounds that used to ring so true suddenly just won't do. Got no blues in my soul and no soul in my blues. Tell you what, now I got no blues in my soul, not no soul in my blues. Just a big happy fool, sitting here grinning at you. Now the sound